I spent $100 on Tamari sauces so that you guys didn't have to, and so that we could figure out which one really is the best Tamari. Let's go. What up, y'all? It's your boy BCD in the house, and you are now rocking to another episode of Good Life Cooking. What we're gonna be doing is taste testing for flavor profile, color, and we're gonna also be looking at which one performs the best when you cook it, because that's obviously important. Let me start off by just introducing Tamari. Tamari is basically a style of soy sauce, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with soy sauce. And the difference, the only difference really, is that this is just purely fermented soybean. There's no wheat and they are gluten-free. Now, some of these actually might have additives in them, such as amino acids or alcohol for freshness, or kombu, like seaweed, to give it a little bit more umami and ocean flavor. But for the most part, the fermentation is what it's about. And what I think is gonna be critical to a really good tamari is how long it's fermented and the process and the quality, of course, of that fermentation. So that could be a number of different things. Quality of the soybeans, how much salt they use, the actual bacteria or koji that they use to ferment. So there's a lot of variables there. I went on Amazon, I looked at all the reviews. For the most part, these are the top brands that I was able to find. They range about $1 to $2 an ounce. So we're not going over the top here on finding the most exclusive tamari on planet Earth, but we do have some really good quality ones here. As a control though, I'm sure you guys all know the Kikkoman regular soy sauce. You can find it at any Asian restaurant, I'm sure, and it's the cheapest shit on the block. It's really not that special, but I do have it here as a control, just for my own taste buds too, just to know, like, hey, yo, in a blind taste test, that was soy sauce, right? So I do have a bowl of rice here that we'll also be tasting and dipping the sauce in. Let's just get started. I wanna take all of these down, bring them into the playoff brackets. Then from there, we'll probably have 4 contenders and then championship the top 2 and see how the top 2 actually cook. So for now, let's get started. I want to take a look at the Kikkoman soy. Right off the bat is a dark color. I think the thing about soy sauces with wheat in it, and this is just the control again, is that it's a little bit saltier. We're gonna definitely be looking at the salt content in all of this too. So for 1 tablespoon, this is 590 milligrams of sodium. This is actually the less sodium soy sauce from Kikkoman. Yeah, that's soy sauce. It's got that wheat in there that gives it kind of like a sweetness. I can't really explain it. Kind of this flavor that's not present in tamari. It's not as pure is what I'm thinking. Kikkoman, we've all had that. This is the first tamari we'll jump into. It's Miso Master Organic. They make a really good miso paste. I actually always get their white sweet miso paste, and I was shocked to see that they had a tamari. And when I poured this out, man, this stuff was dark and thick. So on a rating scale of thickness, viscosity level, and just color, this is like 9, 10. You know, this is probably the thickest out of all. It's almost like a dark soy, to be honest. So excited to try. Let's see what we got. Ooh, damn, that's good. Wow, there's a lot of depth. It like coats your tongue. It's not too salty. 900 milligrams per 1 tablespoon, of sodium, but damn, this is fire. A lot of umami coming out of that. For certain applications, the color is gonna be a good thing or a bad thing. Like if you don't want it to stain the food necessarily, this is gonna just be like a dark soy sauce and it's gonna make noodles, for example, black. So keep that in mind. Next one, we're gonna go with Sanjay. Sanjay is pretty much the leader in tamari style sauces. And I've always used this one actually. This is the one that I gravitate towards. So I know what this tastes like, but this one is a 25% less reduced sodium. And the color is pretty consistent with Sanjay colors. They all actually look the same from what I can see. The level of sodium is what we're gonna be testing here and how that impacts the flavor. That's clean. It still tastes super salty though. It's weird. It's 25% less sodium, but it tastes pretty punchy. So I've reinvented the scale. We're gonna go on a scale of 1 to 10, we're gonna go rate the color, the taste, and the thickness. I would say color is like a 7. Thickness is like it's pretty thin. You know, to be honest, it was like a 5. The taste of the Sanjay, I think it's clean. It's very clean. I'm gonna give it a 6. Let's go with the Tamari that I'm used to having. This is gonna be 980 milligrams for 1 tablespoon. Let's try this one. I'm tasting a little bit more alcohol than that one. It's still really good. I'm so used to that flavor, but I am tasting the alcohol. I'm not sure if I like that as much. It's sweeter though. This one is definitely sweet. It's a little bit thicker, I must say. Color is nice. Color's not gonna be as red as the last one. Color is gonna be a 6. Taste is gonna be like a 6.5. And then the thickness on that one is gonna be a little bit thicker. We're gonna give it a 6. Okay, this one's exciting. Eden Tamari. Eden makes a lot of natural organic products. I wouldn't be surprised if this tastes really good. 990 milligrams of sodium, so similar to the 980 milligrams we have here. Color is definitely darker than the last 3. It smells kind of smoky actually. Let's give it a test. Ooh, that hits you. This hits you very forward with the salt. So this would be much more of a sauce that if you wanna punch the salt up in any food you're doing, this one's pretty good. It's a very clean flavor for sure. It's not as thick though. Color, we're gonna give it a 6. Taste, it was a little thin, but it's very salt forward. I'm gonna say personally, I'm gonna give that a 5.5. And then for thickness, I'm gonna give it a 6. I like this one though. Don't get me wrong, I like this one. So far, they've all been actually pretty good. This is gonna be a really hard decision to choose. This one's interesting because it's Momofuku brand, David Chang, and I love the packaging. I just love the bottle. I feel like this is like a unique little sauce that I would love to have in my kitchen, in my repertoire when I'm cooking food for people, you know? It's like, oh, what are you putting on your food there? You know, this is nice. So for salt content, 1,000 milligrams. This is the saltiest of the bunch so far. First impression, it's very thin, and the color is kind of like an orangey tint to it. Not much depth in terms of color. So I think perhaps it wasn't fermented as long. And sometimes, you know, what you're gonna find is if you hold on to these bottles, they're just gonna ferment over time and get darker. But for right now, this is not sitting at a very dark level of sauce right now. This also is interesting because it has kombu. I can smell the kombu already. Not bad. Very sodium forward, but I taste the kombu ever slightly. I almost wish that if you put kombu as an ingredient, you would actually make it taste more kombu-y. It almost tastes like there's shiitake in here as well. That's definitely good. I'm okay with it. I'm not in love with it though. So I think for color, we're gonna give that a 3. Taste, I wanna say a 5 because I feel like it could have been fermented a lot longer. Thickness, we're going to give it a, I'm gonna give it a 4. But the packaging is crazy. I love this packaging. Take some water just to chase all this sodium away. This shit does get salty though, so don't think I'm sitting here for you guys and not loving this. I am, but it is a lot of salt. So definitely know that I'm working hard for you guys. Next up, we have another Sanjay, and this is the 50% less Tamari, so we're landing at 470 milligrams for 1 tablespoon. Color is pretty consistent to the 100% Sanjay. I must say there's like very little difference in color. The thickness, it is sticking to the rim. Definitely not super thick, but it's there. There's definitely a viscosity to it. Let's give it a try. Okay, there's a weird tinge that I'm getting from it. I'm not sure I like this one. I do taste the alcohol in here, and I think it's a kind of repeating pattern of Sanjay that they have that alcohol to preserve freshness. It just leaves this kind of weird mouthfeel that isn't as full and smooth. So I would say color on that one, still really good color. So I'm gonna give that color a 6. I'm gonna give that a 4 on the taste. Thickness wise, I'm gonna give it, you know, a 5. Next up, we have this Wanja Shan. This is 680 milligrams for 1 tablespoon. It smells good. This does have the alcohol in it as well as a preservative. Color-wise, we get a little red tinge. It's not dark. It doesn't really seem that thick at all. We're gonna go in on the flavor. Okay, the flavor is lacking that fermentation depth, and I feel like the vinegar is there that's hitting me to kind of compensate and give it the freshness that I'm not really sure it's achieving. You know, this is more of like a soup base additive. This is a perfect example. If you go to hot pot and you just mix up a bunch of shit in your sauce, garlic, cilantro, sesame paste, all that shit, hot sauce, this is the sauce you'd probably want to use because it has that vinegar component in it. As far as a straight tamari, probably not gonna cut it. So anyways, color-wise, it's got a light color. We're gonna go 5 on the color. Taste, I'm gonna give that a 3. Thickness, I'm gonna say that was pretty thin, so we're gonna also go like 4. So, I think this was actually the cheapest one on Amazon too. You gotta think about that too. The thicker it's gonna be, probably the more expensive it is because the fermentation time is a bit longer to get it that viscosity. That's just my thinking. I don't even know if that's completely accurate. Take what I say here today, ladies and gentlemen, with a grain of salt. This one's cool. I'm excited to try this. This is a no soy Sanjay Tamari style sauce, and all it has is pea, salt, and pea protein, and that alcohol to preserve freshness. But the sodium content is 970 milligrams on that bottle. And right off the bat, the color is great. Color is at an 8. I think that's a really rich color. It's giving a good viscosity as I'm spinning it around. Ooh, damn. I might have to rethink my life here. That's really good. I'm starting to think that all tamari should be done with peas. I can't explain it, but there's a little bit of a sweet note in there that you taste immediately, and then boom, the salt kind of kicks in, and then it just stays, and then it's like clean though. And there's a lot of umami. It's unique, it's refreshing, it's rich. Bravo on that one. Color-wise, we got an 8. Taste-wise, I'm gonna give that an 8. Thickness, I'm gonna give that an 8. Solid pick, guys. The funny thing about this is that I've tried to get this 2 times on Amazon. First time, it didn't get delivered. Second time, they sent me this one, and that's actually why I have this. I wasn't originally going to have a 50% less one, but they sent me this one. You know, when you order sauces on Amazon, they actually don't accept returns because they probably don't want the bottles breaking on your return back. This one took a little bit more work to get, and maybe that's why it means a little bit more to me. I don't know, but it was really good. So here we got a Tamari by Yamasa, and this is a sodium level of 940 milligrams for 1 tablespoon. They've got a ton of certification here: gluten-free, non-GMO, USDA, and this is probably the most expensive one out of the batch too. So I'm excited to try this one. Let's give this one a go. It's thick, sheep thick, y'all, sheep thick. Okay, darkness, yes, there is definitely a depth of color to this. It smells like a very, very strong tamari. There's alcohol in here. I was getting the same kind of scent that I was getting on this Sanjay one. So let's go ahead and taste this one. Very fresh, very bright. It's got a nice finish. I like that one. It's salty, but it's not too salty. It's got a very clean aftertaste. It's not lingering. I like that a lot. That's a good choice. So color on that one, we're gonna give that a 7. Taste on that, we're actually gonna give that a 7. And the thickness, I feel like, was also a 7. Just solid 7s all around. Next up, we have Ninbin Kombu Soup Base. I just got duped because this actually does have soy sauce in it with some yeast extract and shiitake. So there is wheat in here. It's not a true tamari, guys. I'm sorry. This is not a true tamari. But I was curious anyways because I'm always looking for a good dipping sauce for soba noodles. Sodium level is 1200 milligrams for 2 tablespoons. We're not too up there in terms of sodium content, but it does have shiitake, it has kombu in it, and now that I know it has soy sauce with true wheat in it. Color on this one, for a soup concentrate, not really rich and dark, guys. It's actually pretty light, not thick at all. It's kind of watery, so let's give this a try. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of sweetness in here too. They added sugar. This is a completely different style. But you know what? Because it has that sweetness, this would actually make for a really good dipping sauce for soba noodles. I'm gonna disqualify this one completely. So we're gonna get rid of that. Bonus round. This is Bragg's liquid amino. This is not a tamari by any means, but I did find that it has soy in it, vegetable protein from soybeans. So I said, that kind of counts. But what it also has is 16 amino acids, alanine, arginine, glycine, histidine, just a lot of enes that I can't really, get into with y'all. It smells like a soy sauce. And I think a lot of people do actually use this to replace a soy sauce to be gluten-free. Color is brown and there's not much depth to it, This is actually pretty good. This is very close to a fish sauce, like a vegan fish sauce. It's salty. It's got all of these nuances from the amino acids. Yeah, that's really good. It almost tastes like mushroom. I didn't think I would like this one as much. This is as close to a vegan fish sauce as it comes for like the American markets, because they make a lot of vegan fish sauce already, but this would be like Whole Foods version of vegan fish sauce that I think is probably better than like No Fish or like whatever other brands you see out there doing it. But yeah, that's pretty good. Color-wise, I'm gonna give that a 3 because I don't really like the color of it. Taste, I'm gonna give it a unique 7. Thickness, there is no thickness. It's kind of like a 3. Not really a tamari style here. Let's narrow it down, guys. I think this one stands out big time. I gave this 9s all around. This one stood out. This one also stood out, but I don't want to use this one because I always use it. But I'm gonna just pull that out. The Eden stood out. This did not make the cut. This did not make the cut. The P stood out, and the Yamasa stood out. The amino is kind of like in its own ball game. So let's clean the table, narrow it down, and we're gonna have looks like a playoff round with 3 brackets here, 6 contenders. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost at the finish line. If you've made it this far, I appreciate your time to wanna know all about Tamari. Let the games begin. I think from here, what I just wanna do is pick a top 4. Then we're gonna try the top 4 with some rice. So I'm really here to just disqualify 2. Now that we have it narrowed down, we're gonna go with the Eden. Not the Eden, very punchy, color's good. Let's go with the 25% less. Still taste that alcohol in there like before. Go with the 100%. I like this better than that one. I'm gonna go with the Eden. That's really good. I think I like this better than both of these. We're gonna move some qualifiers forward. The no soy pea protein version, it's just so good. I'm shocked every time. That comes up to the forefront. And lastly, this Yamasa. It's good, but I don't know if I like it more than this one. Yeah, I think this has a little bit more of a freshness to it that I appreciate. I like these all, to be honest. I'm gonna be super honest. I like them all, but I do like the freshness that this one's giving. So if I had to narrow it down to 4, I'm gonna pick these 4 because they seem the most unique to me. These are flavors that if you want a tamari, these are just solid tamaris. Like you cannot go wrong with these, but there's nothing like super unique about them, I feel like. They're good, they're really good, don't get me wrong. I'm just not going to have them in the playoffs. We have our 4 contenders. We're going to bring out the rice. For the rice test, really just looking at how it coats the rice, I'm looking at how it tastes with rice, I'm looking at all the things because soy sauce and rice go hand in hand, right? Miso tamari and some rice gets really dark and it just sticks to that rice for sure. The flavor tends to go away, get masked by that rice pretty quick, so it's interesting. We're gonna go with the 25% less sodium sanjay. Freshness on that, sticks on the rice, it's really good. I'm gonna go with the Eden. Definitely colors the rice more than the sanjay. The saltiness comes through, like the sauce gets lost. I don't know what it is, by itself it's really good, but with rice, kind of loses its depth. Next up, the Tamari pea, colors nicely. It's not too dark. That's just good. It changes too though. There's a lot more fruitiness that comes out of that. when you add it to rice. It's so unique. Why is no one talking about that? This is a hard decision. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with these two. These are really good, don't get me wrong. This one lost its kind of character though. I almost wish I tried one of these instead. This one performs really good by itself, but when you have it with rice, there's just something that changes with it. These are the top 2 Tamari players in the game right now. What we need to do is see how they perform under heat. And to do that, no better way than to just put some rice on the pan, fry it up, and just a little drizzle. Give it a nice toss to absorb all the flavor, and we're gonna serve. Come back to the players field and taste test the championship round. It's coming, let's go. Back from the kitchen. Moment of truth, guys. How did the Tamari actually cook down? The Miso Master Tamari, it gave it a nice color, much darker in color for sure, and we already knew that going in. But as it was cooking, it tended to just like really dissipate super fast on that heat. This is very thick Tamari, so it does tend to be a little bit stickier when you cook it, and it leaves char marks because it gets burned. It smells great. It smells like really, really good fried rice for sure. Moment of truth, guys. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, it's not too salty by any means. It's not salty at all, but there's a deep, rich flavor to it. It's delicious. All right, next up, no soy tamari. Excited to see who's gonna win after this bite. The flavor of tamari comes off of this more. It's definitely sweeter notes of flavor. The color is more of like a caramelly brown versus like a charred kind of like darkness to it. It didn't dissipate as fast in the heat, but it cooked pretty nicely. I was getting some really good scents off of this. Cheers, guys. Wow. There's salt that comes forward on this one that this one didn't have. I love that. You know, this is what you want when you're definitely doing stir fries and you just need a hit of that punch of sodium to round things out without actually throwing in a bunch of MSG and salt. I'm torn. This is very, very good, but the uniqueness and depth of this, which I feel like with just a pinch of salt, this would have elevated it. Because you get that char, because you get that bitterness. Here's what it is. Okay, this one, because it's thick, it will dissipate a lot quicker. But what that also means is the bitterness is gonna come forward from the sugars cooking down, and it's gonna actually burn. That's good, it's just different flavor profiles, right? So the bitterness is gonna come out on this one, where this pea protein actually holds its shape a little bit better when you cook with it, and it's got the salt punch to it. I gotta give it up to the no soy tamari, guys. You kind of saw it coming, right? I mean, I was kind of rooting for this thing to take it across the finish line, but it cooked nice, the color is great, the freshness of it, the profile, the fact that I waited 2 orders from Amazon to just get it here. And it's unique, it's not made with soybeans, which is crazy, it's made with peas. There you have it, guys. The winner, Sanjay, no soy tamari, takes the cake. Woo, we're done. At the end of the day, I feel good with that decision. This is still a great tamari to take home to use, maybe used as a dark soy instead of a tamari. But yeah, hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys get a chance to try it. I'll leave links down below in the description box for everything that you saw today, with of course my recommendation for the Sanjay. And we'll be back to taste test more things. I love doing this, so if you guys have any debacles or debates in your head about what food to try next and what is better than what, leave a comment. Recommend me something to try. We'll make it happen. Thanks, guys. Cheers. 王炸上. Ooh, we got a leak here. Ooh, she thick, y'all. She thick. Alanine, arginine, just a lot of enes that I can't really, you know, get into with y'all at the moment because I don't know how to pronounce them. That freaked me out. Siri's tripping. Hey Siri, stop playing music.